Hello, and thank you for watching. Today, we're going to talk about this. So, this is an 85 Beretta. The body was made in the early spring of 85. For 2 months, they recessed the trim cover. Might be almost 3 months. They didn't do it for long, and this is one of those bodies. It has the fender neck plate spacing with the newer cast neck plate. This guitar is made of alder. It's a budget alder, so it's a little bit lighter. But with the orange drop 022 600 volt capacitor wired from the pickup, where the pickup wires onto connection, to ground, it warms up the sound and actually does work. It has the gloss black Floyd Rose from the 85 time period. And of course, the 1978 Seymour Duncan Custom Shop, wound by Marcelo Juarez. This body I acquired when I was working at Kramer in 1985. It is actually white. This has yellowed over the 37 years I've had this guitar. And I took a car buffer to it to clean it up. Kramer sometimes had a pretty good clear coat on their bodies, and I was able to get out a lot of dents and scratches and stuff with the car buffer. But in order to get it back to the Alpine white, you'd have to sand it, wet sand it. I'm not going to do that. I think it adds a historical value to the guitar, leaving it with this patina, if you will. Now this neck is a Lucido, not early 85, that was used for experiments on the Bill Edwards finger tight locking nut. That was an absolute failure. We had about a dozen of these that they used for the nut, and the finger tight had a little bit of extra drilling, not all the way through anyway, but it just had a little bit extra drilling on the shelf to clear the longer screws. And as you can see, it's the tilted Lucido. Lucido was out of Canada. And you could tell Lucido because usually the date is stamped on the back, and many times it'll be in French. So these necks that we got for the experiments had a very light fretboard covering. You know, it was extremely light. You could see where, you know, I've kind of worn through in spots a little bit over the years, but the rest of the neck had no finish at all. So there's a story behind this neck. When I was working at Kramer, probably about, the early summertime, my boss came up to me with about a dozen of these necks and told me that, as per request from Eddie, he wanted me to break them all and throw them in the dumpster. Now, Eddie didn't like anybody having anything that he used. And even though this neck has a glued-on fingerboard, and he used the fingerboards were part of the neck. And that's why they needed a skunk stripe. You know, this one, no skunk's gripe. They put the truss rod in before they glued the fretboard on. So here I am, going out to the dumpster, and I start breaking these necks. And my boss goes back into the factory. Well, lo and behold, on the loading dock, oh, there's Eddie watching me break these necks. I'm like, okay. So I must have broke about 5, 6 of them. And, you know, I'd have to shove them into the channel steel that the trucks pick up the dumpster with, you know, and break them that way. Well, he got a phone call. He had to go into the factory to answer the phone. They didn't have cell phones then. And I guess I could say that maybe one of them got into the dumpster without being broken. That's as far as I'm going to go on that. Of course, I refuse to either confirm nor deny aspects in this story. But that's what I had gotten the Kramer decal for it. And pretty much put her together, and you know, it's got the R2 locking nut, and of course the tool pack and the shallow tuners. And it's this was my first Kramer guitar. I've had this a very long time, and you know, I've recently rebuilt it with the, you know, fresh neck dressing and bringing the nut down on the shelf and lowering the action, increasing playability and whatnot. So there's a look at this guitar, and I hope you found that interesting. And thank you for watching, and thank you to my subscribers. That's really great. I'm glad people are watching and there's interest in the channel. Thank you so much. And have a good day and rock on.